Hello viewers, this is your host Sushil Shalot. I welcome you to the YouTube channel and I'm glad to be back with you with a new video. And in this video, we are going to take up a topic which is of great importance to all of us who are working in some other organization, in some profession or the other. May it be a engineer, may it be a doctor, may it be a lawyer, or may it be a journalist, or may it be a workman. Well, what are we going to cover in this video? We are going to cover here gratuity. And it is not only going to be a theory, but it will be gratuity understanding and calculation in Excel. So friends, let's get on to the topic and let me explain you what is gratuity. Gratuity is a very small amount as far as the complete salary is concerned. This is a small amount which is paid by the employee, which is again in line or commensurate with the service tenure. That is the number of years the employee works with the employer. The employer pays more gratuity according to in proportion to the service. And what is it? Employer having 10 or more employee in his or her organization has to pay gratuity. These are all rules and regulations recently updated and are applicable in India. Well, what next? So employee has to complete 5 years of uninterrupted service and then only he or she will be entitled for the gratuity payment. So if someone has not completed 5 years, then it is not payable to that employee. There are some exceptions to this. The first exception that I have mentioned here is the journalist. So journalists are entitled to get paid for the gratuity after completion of 3 years of uninterrupted service. There is another exception to this, and let us go on to that exception. So that exception is contract employees are entitled for gratuity on completion of the first year of service in contract. Well, this has been recently updated or added to the gratuity rules. Earlier, the contract employees were not entitled for the gratuity. What next? The gratuity is based on the last basic plus dearness allowance earned by the employee. For example, if an employee has worked for 10 years and his salary has got a delta amount of basic and the dearness allowance. Dearness allowance is the allowance paid to meet the inflation rate which grows year on year. So the basic plus dearness allowance, these go on getting updated or appraised every year or after a certain duration or a fixed period in many organizations. So, if the employee is earning a delta amount of basic plus dearness at the 10th year and he or she has decided to quit the job, then the last month's salary payment slip will display the basic plus dearness allowance based on which he or she will get the gratuity paid. So it won't be on the previous year's basic and DNS allowance or any of the previous month's basics and DNS allowance. Well, I hope I am clear on this point. The next thing is the corpus, that is 20 lakh maximum, is entitled to be tax free as per the government norms in India. So 20 lakhs is 200,000 or rather 20 million, or sorry, it will be 6 zeros over 2. That's it. So 20 lakh INR corpus is entitled to be tax free, and anything which is paid over and about 20 lakh rupees is taxable. Well, there is one more point over here, and that point is very important to be taken note of. Anything that is about 20 lakh rupees will be paid at the discretion of the employer's wish. So the employer can decide if to or if not to pay any gratuity portion which is about 20 lakh rupees. Well, as I already said, the amount that is over and about 20 lakh rupees shall be taxable as per the norms of that time. Well, let's get on to the calculation how the gratuity is to be paid or how one is getting entitled for the gratuity. So it's simple formula. I have mentioned it here. So what is gratuity? Gratuity is 15 days per year multiplied by the last month basic plus DA. multiplied by tenure. So tenure is the total number of years that employee must have served, and as I already mentioned, for general employees except for those who are on contract and those are journalists, all other employees will have the minimum tenure of 5 years to be completed uninterrupted for being entitled for the gratuity payment. And well, there are 26 days a month, that means 4 holidays considered, so 30 minus 4, that is 26 days per month are to be considered. So the formula here is gratuity is equal to 15 days per year multiplied by last month basic plus DA multiplied by the tenure in number of years divided by 26 days. So if I talk in numericals, it is 15 multiplied by last month basic plus DA into number of years divided by 26. Well, let's get on to examples so that I'll be able to explain you much faster and easier. So here the first employee listed here has got a basic of 25,000. The DA, that is dearness allowance, is 12,000 INR. The TA, that is traveling allowance, is 6,000 rupees. He or she is getting paid 1200 rupees for medical, and others are contributed to rupees 8,000. So as I already told, if this is the last month of that employee's salary slip and it is displaying these values, then for that employee only the value that is over here, this is going to matter. So the basic plus DA for this employee will be 27,000, and the remaining portion of the salary, that is 6,000, 1,200 and 8,000, will be not considered for the gratuity calculation. Well, let's get on to the actual ones, or the tenure, how it is calculated. For example, I have mentioned here this employee has covered 7 years and 1 month of service before he or she has decided to quit the job. So, as per the rules, he has served for more than 5 years uninterrupted, and so he or she, whoever it is, for consideration of this example, let's say he is entitled to get the gratuity from the employer. Well, how is the tenure calculated? It's quite simple. Suppose it is 7 years and 1 month, then the tenure will be the tenure will be 7 years. If this month turns out to be 2, then also the tenure will be 7. If it turns out to be 5, then also the tenure will be 7. If at all this tenure turns out to be 7 years and 6 months, immediately the tenure will get converted into the next successive number of years. So that is it. I hope I have made it very clear. Well, what I have done here is I have used very simple formula, and I am not going to use complex formula because this video is not to explain you the formula but to explain you what is gratuity, how it is calculated, and how it can be calculated by using simple formula. So I have used the formula if here, and for example now if I'm going to go over here and again I will put up over here. So what is it? So if the number of months over here are equal to or greater than 6, then what? Then the true value happens to be the number of years, that is this year, plus 1. What if it is not true? That means if the number of months is less than 6, then it will be only the year that has been completed to be considered. And there it is. So here is the formula. I'm going to say enter, and I'm going to use yes for giving the parenthesis. Right now it is showing 0 because I have not put in any years here. But hope you have understood the context, the formula that I have considered here, and there it is on your screen. Have a look for a moment. So if I9 is greater than or equal to 6, then the value happens to be H9 plus 0, or otherwise if the value is not true, that means if I9 is less than 6, then the tenure value happens to be the value from cell H9. Well, I hope I have made it very clear. Now let's get on to the gratuity calculation. So the formula here is quite simple and easy to understand. Let me highlight it for you over here. So what does it say? As I already explained, gratuity is 15 days into last basic plus DA. That means the last month of the salary slip will display the basic plus DA. multiplied by the number of years the person has served divided by 26. So that is it. So this is what the formula says. So if you check up, if I go over here and say double click, what does it say? So if J8 is greater than or equal to 5, so as I said, the entitlement of gratuity or the eligibility to get gratuity is 5 years and more. So J8 has to be greater than or equal to 5. If it is true, then as the formula says, 15 multiplied by basic plus DA, that is B8 plus C8, multiplied by J8, J8 happens to be the tenure, divided by 26. So this is the formula I have applied. And if the value turns out to be untrue, that is false, then what? Then the person is not entitled for gratuity and it should return the value as gratuity not entitled. This is what the formula says. I hope you have been clear about this. I will just highlight it again for you to understand what it is. Have a look for it for a moment, grasp it, and if you happen to be confused, go again for this portion of the video and watch it for your understanding's sake. Well, there it is. So we are done with this formula. There is the value. So this person will be entitled for 1,70,769 rupees and 23 paise at the end of his tenure of 7 years and 6 months. That is, the tenure will be considered as 8 years for the calculation of this gratuity. If at all this person has only served for 7 years and 4 months, then the tenure turns out to be 7 and the gratuity value accordingly will become 1,49,423 rupees and 8 paise. Suppose this person has not served for even 5 years. So say for example he has served for 4 years and 4 months. What then? As I already explained you, gratuity not entitled. This is what Excel will return in this calculation. For example, if this person has completed 4 years and 6 months, what happens? Let's see. Well, there it is. That person, as I said, is entitled for the gratuity as per this calculation, but not as per the rules. So basically, the value of this tenure has to be considered only in case if this month and the year has to be crossed always 5. So as I said, 4 years 6 months, the tenure is showing 5 here. As per the calculation, the gratuity is entitled, but as per the government rules and norms, no, that person is not entitled for gratuity. So minimum this value of year has to be 5 and above. Well, let me repeat, this value has to be 5 and above. Okay friends, so hope I am clear about the gratuity entitlement. I purposely showed you that this is the bug in the formula that I am using. So if it is 4 years and 6 months, that person is not entitled for gratuity. Fine. Let us get on to some more example over here. Let's say this person has completed say 20 years and say 6 months. So what is the gratuity that he will be entitled? I'll just drag down the formula over here and see. He will be entitled for 5,20,961. Say for example, this person has got a tenure total say 35 years and 6 months. If he has completed this portion of his service and that is what he has earned, and suppose for example his DA was 25,000, then as you see, he will be entitled for 12,46,153. For example, if his basic turns out to be 70,000, the value here turns out to be 19,73,076 rupees 92 paise. That means still that person is under the threshold of 20 lakh rupees, and so whatever corpus he gets at the end as a gratuity shall not be taxable. But say for example, if he turns out to be somewhere about 20 lakh rupees. So here is the gratuity. He is entitled for 20 lakh 76,923. And well, this as a result is going to cost him a taxable amount of 76,923 rupees as per the rules. But well, then there is another clause there. Employer will decide if at all the employer wish to pay, or if the employee is entitled as per the employer's norms to get the amount of 76,923, which is over and above 20 lakh rupees. So friends, I'll expect you to do a exercise on your own for this third category wherein the DA value is 0. So well, if I go over here and say for example 8 years and 2 months, the tenure here certainly will be 8 years, fine. And gratuity here, I'll expect you, I'm just going to pull down the formula here, and the gratuity turns out to 69,230 rupees 77 paise. But well, I'll expect you to do this exercise on your own by adding certain example values and then practicing it by your own self. After you're done that, after you are certain that you can do this activity on your own, do it for your own self and check out what gratuity you are entitled as per your service tenure as on date. Well, with this, I'm coming to the closure of this video. I hope my explanation of gratuity, its calculation, and the usage of Excel to calculate gratuity is crystal clear to you all. You must have liked this video. If you have liked it, do express your likes at the YouTube channel. If you are new to the channel, as ever, I'll ask you to subscribe the channel. And if you are not new to the channel and haven't subscribed it yet, take my word, take my recommendation, do subscribe the channel. You will always be gaining from this channel and the videos. Well friends, with this I will take leave from you till I'm back with my new video. Take care, stay safe, bye bye.